The title of this session is The Future of Customer Relationships, How to Prepare for Success. And I want to sit back for a minute and I want to think about what's happened in 8 years on this whole social front. Because it would be my observation that in the past 8 years, this whole social media has significantly changed the way we sell, we service, we market, and that two-way dialogue with our customer. Now, to make sure everybody's on board, social media is that set of interactive tools that allows us to create online communities, whether they're public communities like Facebook or LinkedIn, etc., whether they're private communities, the ones that are used inside companies, but they allow customers, prospects to talk to one another, to share information, solutions, opinions, ratings, polls, and they're learning from each other, and this is the critical point, rather than from the corporation. Now you sit back and you ask, how pervasive is this? And I want to read a couple of statistics. I'm not a real statistical guy, but these impress the heck out of me. So, how many people use social media? How about 1.43 billion out of 7 billion in the world, or more than 1 in 7 are using social media on a regular basis? Now, let's just be clear on this. There was no social media before 2004 when Facebook came into the planet. I mean, there were attempts at communities and collaboration, but as we call social media, it's about 8 years old, and yet 1 in 7 people in the world are talking to each other. Of the 1.43 billion that are using social media, we surpassed 1 billion alone in Facebook, of which 40% are using Facebook on a daily basis. That's 400 million people. Now, we can sit back as individuals, as businessmen and women, and we can ask this very important question. Why are they doing this? What has significantly changed to drive that behavior, and how will that impact the way we sell, the way we service, the way we market, and how we're going to interact with our customers in the future? And I think that's worthy of some real serious reflection. In this country, by the way, 79% of all U.S. adults use social media on a regular basis. It has nothing to do with age. I'll give you statistics that I think, again, are rather interesting. I'm going to go from 2005 to 2012. That's 7 years. The Gen Y, which are roughly speaking 18 to 30-year-old now, 16% of them use social media in 2005. More than 90% use social media today. Let's jump up to Gen X, ages 30 to 49. 12% used it in 2005. More than 65% are using it in 2012. Let's go up to the baby boomers, which I belong to, 50 to 64 years old. 7% used it in 2005. More than 50% in 2012. And what everybody wrote off as the silver surfers, those that are 65 and above, 5% use social media in 2005. More than 30% use it in 2012. So the question really is, why? And part of the reason is that lots and lots of people are using social media. Marketers have understood this. The preferred channel of reaching people in business today is the social channel. And the preferred way of doing that is through what are public communities. Now these numbers, I submitted this presentation to Gerhard and his lovely team a couple of weeks ago. It says Facebook 900 million users. That blew through 1 billion at the beginning of this month. So these figures are just blossoming. 350 million daily tweets. And the question you sit back and you ask yourself, again, why? And I'd like to share with you for a moment my take on this, and then let's wrap this up and show you how you apply this in business. There are 5 reasons why we're seeing this social media explosion. In the simplest of manners, it's used to stay in touch with family and friends in a very simple and easy way. We don't have to use expensive broadcasting techniques or anything like that. A browser, an account, and off you go. On the business world, social media has this tremendous impact on the public media, social media sites, for branding and for sharing content, and on the private sites for creating two-way dialogue with customers, not a one-way us to them, but equally important, them to us. It's also used, if you will, as a very effective way to drive customer satisfaction, to drive advocacy, to drive loyalty, as customers like to talk to one another in a private community that you happen to be sponsoring. Whether it's for personal reasons or for business reasons, social media, I think, is booming in part because it is cost-effective, because it is very easy to use, because it's very easy to organize events or get-togethers. And what's happened now is people are beginning to change the way they interact and communicate with others. So as businessmen and women, as we sit back and we ask the question, what does it mean for us? The question I think you should be asking is this question. How do we leverage the fire hose of information of millions, and in this case, billions of people using social capability? How do we leverage that social insight in our day-to-day jobs, whether we sell, whether we market, whether we're in the service side? How do we use this? Because those that will tap into it and leverage it well will win, and those that feel this may be something that is still quite complicated, can't quite figure out how to get my hands around it, will end up in our Smithsonian Institute back in Washington, D.C. as dinosaurs.